So, great question. What are some ways to increase androgen receptor density? For those of you guys who are saying, what the hell is androgen receptor density? Well, basically, one of the ways that we grow is testosterone levels bind to their receptors and they tell the muscle grow. One of the reasons why guys can gain more muscle than females is because they have more testosterone and more androgen receptors. And one of the reasons why some very poor studies that were done out of Canada that were correlational showed that acute rise in testosterone didn't affect long-term growth is because they used people who are untrained. Because people who are highly trained, like powerlifters, have a much greater density of androgen receptors. When we first start training, the localized response to muscle growth is very prominent. As I adapt to training, I start to build up more androgen receptors around the muscle, and I can respond better to testosterone. So what studies show is one of the best things that you can do to increase androgen receptor density is going to be metabolic type of training, and that's going and or heavy training combined with burnout sets. So what happens is when I do metabolic training, like supersets, giant sets, short rest period lengths, compound movements, I create a huge amount of lactic acid, a huge amount of metabolic stress, and that seems to stimulate the nervous system and the endocrine system to release testosterone. The more of those acute bouts that happen, the better the muscle gets at using testosterone and upregulating androgen receptors. So even if you're like a power lifter and you want to increase androgen receptors, you're not so much interested in like high rep stuff. Studies show that if you do heavy lifting and then you do a burnout set at the end, that can increase androgen receptors and it'll increase muscle growth and it'll increase strength ultimately.